So today we got a revisit on the John Deere 872GP. This is the one where I found the slope sensor cable had a bad wire in it. This cable that runs here, it's a John Deere cable, so we had to get a new cable from John Deere. And that's the cable right there. So we're just going to install that, and we're going to actually update firmware for the GPS as well, because I noticed that was kind of weird. Needs to be updated. Interested to actually find that break in that wire. So we have to take this cover off, and we have to take this front cover off, undo it, knock these zip ties off, remove the cable, put a new cable in. Yeah, really simple cable to remove. It's actually not even in there very difficultly, but just have to snip off all these zip ties, including the one that I installed, the little wire. That was enough to get them going, to keep them working. Sometimes you got to do that, you know? Sometimes you got to do that. I mean, a wire's a wire, whether it's in protective casing or not, right? It still sends that signal the way it should. There's a couple big ones we gotta get. Alright, I just need to jump up here. And up here, it just basically connects to two connectors. One is for the slope, which has got that wire going into it, and one is into the blade MC2 sensor, and then they just come up the rest of the way this way. So I'll just disconnect those and cut that wire out of there and pull that cable out and throw the new one in. One thing I like to do when dealing with these different sensors so that you can troubleshoot them easier, basically just label them. So this side, slope side, this side, MC2 blade sensor side, and same thing on this side. Just label them. It makes them that much easier to run through and troubleshoot. You never know when you're going to have an issue. Just make it easy on yourself. So MC2 and slope. Okay. Now I already have this wire going up in there, so I'm actually going to use that just to pull this up through. Now whenever you're pulling wires, cables up through spots that you can't see, that collect dirt and grease and everything else, cover them up with tape. Takes 2 minutes, less than that actually. Now I'm just going to tape this together with that wire, and I'm going to fish it through. There we go. Doesn't get any easier than that. Connect them up, zip tie them down. Zip tie it down there, test it, good to go. Now, to fix a problem, I mean fix a problem, and that problem was this cable, right? So, and we know exactly what wire it was that white wire. So, with a cable, I mean, all I had to do was cut it in half. Now I can do a test. This white cable right here, running to this end, I'll check continuity and see if it's on this side. Same thing over here, the white cable's in that tape, but check this side. Find where the problem actually exists. Find it, because if you don't identify the problem, that new cable that you just put on can experience the same exact thing. Was it a manufacturer defect, or was it actually rubbing against something inside where it was laying, or I mean, what happened to this cable? Let's find out. So I have continuity from this plug that sat right there off the sensor splitter cable all the way back to that cut. So this side was good. I have no continuity from this plug to this wire here. So somewhere in this system, which is going up into the nose of the machine, something caused the wire to either break or dislocate, and it might be the pin. We can investigate even further. So what I did is I cut this one in half again, from the plug to this point right here is good. From this point to this point is bad. Now, all I have to do really is just pull that sheathing off and I can find the damaged wire. Look for any damage on the outside, which I don't see any, but that broken wire is in here somewhere. Let's find it. Alright, so all I did was slice all the way down on the insulator, well, the protective cover, and now we can just pull all this out and see what they did here. This looks like a homemade cable. That's exactly what that is, homemade. That doesn't look factory, does it? Look at all the binding that's going on in this cable. Twisting and binding, and I know this for a fact that electricity does not like paths that are not least resistance. Alright, and we're looking at that white cable right there, so I'm going to have to go through and just cut all these little tape marks off so I can pull it out. Okay, so again, it is not enough to just simply change the part and call that fixed, because it's not fixed until you identify the actual cause, and I believe that's the cause right there. It feels separated, it is squashed. And I have to assume other wires were going to end up that way too. So there's no continuity going through this wire. And there is one big dent squash mark right there. There's actually a few. And all you have to do really is just start pulling. And you can feel the weak spot. Should only start pulling the insulator. There it is, right there. That's it. That's it, right there. That's the spot. Now, man, look, see that? See that? Wire doesn't bend like that. It bends like that. Look at that. Something severed that right there. That's it. That's the spot. Interesting. So that puts it down here in this spot. So something either banged into it or somebody accidentally hit it with something. Interesting. I guess what we can do is take that cable, and I don't like to bury them in other hydraulic hoses and stuff. If I put that underneath in there, it could get squashed. I'd rather see it so you can visually see if there's any damage. That's a tough call, because if it's under there, all wrapped up in there, it could cause issues as well. Yeah, let me move that. I'm actually going to put that underneath now that I know the problem area is right here. It probably got hit by something. Alright, I think that'll do the trick. It's, again, this is about finding the cause, right? Not just repeating the same mistakes. So what I did is I put that up underneath these hydraulic hoses, and it's secured in a way where it's not going to get damaged. If you remember on the last video, the old cable, actually the one I just took out, you might even be able to see it here, was out here on the outside. So it definitely got hit by something, and it kind of like karate chopped the cable in half inside. The copper actually split. So I think that'll work out good. I just need to zip tie the whole bundle together, and that's it. So it'll be protected. The cover goes over this, and as long as they don't hit anything in here, which they have, this here is a break. So yeah, I think that'll solve the issue. Okay, let's just make sure our system powers up and it sees those sensors. Dirty, dirty, dirty. This will take a minute because this project is huge, so I'll bring you back when it starts to spin up. Alright, here we go. I doubt they have, well, they do have, yeah. Okay, I was going to say I doubt they have their base up. It doesn't look like there's too many people out here working today, and it's early, so yeah, so no radio, so we're not going to get any bass. But I do want to update that 4.7 for their GPS antenna. 4.8 is the next. And look, we have sensors, so all the sensors are reading, and we didn't have to calibrate anything. Just change out a cable. A bad wire inside must have got hit or something. So I will update this firmware, and that'll be it.